I just wanted to say a few words before this video. I am not making fun of these homeowners who spent their hard-earned money on systems that we rip out. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to make a point here. When people hire the cheap contractor, and then 2 years later we got to rip the whole system out, and they got to pay us to do it right a second time, my heart goes out to them. And it drives me crazy. I've been seeing it my whole career. So when you watch this video, know it is to make a point. That's what I'm trying to do. Make a point. Look for 5-star reviews. Make sure you're hiring contractors that know drainage. Don't hire a guy that just mows grass and he's the handyman unless you know that he is well versed in drainage. It's too common that we see homeowners in a bad way. And they say, oh, I thought my landscaper knew what he was doing. We do drainage every day. So there's a big difference in a company that provides a service that they practice each and every day and a company that has many different disciplines that they're trying to do. Another muddy yard in Macomb Township. We're in Macomb Township, Michigan. We're running downspouts and a French drain to fix this muddy yard. So here's one of the biggest mistakes we see in downspouts. This was ran for an underground buried downspout system. See all the holes in the pipe? Never use a perforated pipe for a solid downspout line. That perforated pipe is losing water right next to the foundation of the house. You see all the roots, all the tree roots? See how they got inside the pipe? This homeowner paid once, unfortunately, to have the roof runoff system done. Now they have to pay again. The contractor that they hired to put in their system in Macomb Township, Michigan, didn't know any better, and he was using perforated pipe instead of solid pipe. And that was the cheap pipe that you buy at Home Depot and Lowe's. It never stood a chance. We're going to put in a commercial system, heavy duty, all virgin pipe. All the components, everything is made right here in Michigan. Everything is made in the USA. Look at this right here. How would you like to live like this? Nobody wants to live like this. Your kids can't even come out and enjoy the swing set. When we get done putting in this French drain system, this yard will be tightened up. They'll never have another water problem. All the downspouts were ran with perforated pipe, all of them. More perforated pipe. Look at how the roots got in. You can see the perforations, the saw cuts throughout. This is absolutely ridiculous. And it's unacceptable. If you pay somebody to run a roof runoff system and they claim to offer that in their services, you would hope that they at least research the type of pipe to use. You would think that at least would give the homeowner their money's worth. No, we see this all the time. It's sad, it's unfortunate. We rip out so many systems. Most of the jobs we do are to replace a failed roof runoff system. Well, this will be the last system that this homeowner will need. We're going to put in a system that's going to last forever. It's going to be serviceable and easy to maintain. All right, we have a downspout that didn't have a leaf filter on it. You can see that it's plugged solid. The underground is plugged solid. Put a leaf filter on it so that the next line that we're going to install today won't ever have to have any issues with plugged organic materials clogging it. We see this all the time. All the water was just pouring over the gutter trough down to the ground. Excess water on this wood deck, but then just running through. Look at this. We see this all the time. I'm going to start filming more of it for you guys so you can appreciate what it is we do why we use a leaf filter, why we use a catch basin to catch the shingle gravel. There's organic material in shingle gravel, so you need both. People always ask me, do I need both? Yes, you do. And the way we build our leaf filter, you just got to check it in the fall after a rain when the leaves are coming down. And then the shingle gravel, maybe once every 2 years, you just shop vac the catch basin out. But to have failure, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Water's not getting through that. These guys put on these systems, they cut corners. The homeowners might get 2 years out of it, maybe. This one had the wrong pipe. It had perforated pipe, and it should have had solid pipe. So the guys are working really hard to get really nice slope on the trench to get this water out of here. We're using solid pipe, solid pipe. This is not perforated pipe. This thing, it has so much shingle gravel in it, it feels literally like a dead body. Like when you go to pick it up, it weighs a lot. And you can see all the perforations. Ran perforated pipe for a solid downspout line. We see it all the time. But hire the cheap guy. Hire the cheap guy. Yep, hire the cheap guy. He gave you a good deal. We're going to start backfilling this line, but you can see our leaf filter. We have a nice riser. We did the pro kits. This homeowner got the pro kits. We got the not quite a 90 right here. We got our 1% slope, probably about 4 feet off the house. And we found a good spot in between all the sprinkler lines to get this catch basin in. That's why our catch basin is narrow. It's only 5 inches wide, so it fits in a trench made by a trenching shovel. All these components were designed by contractors that install drainage for a living every day. We wanted parts that worked, parts that were strong, parts that were durable, parts that snapped together, parts that were meant to snap together. You would not believe how many different manufacturers make fittings and components and they don't even fit their pipe. It's ridiculous. Make sure to always cut up the clay in little pieces and take your time and pack it around the pipe so you don't get settling. You don't have to come back and redo this. You don't want to pull that sod back up and have to add more dirt later. So it's best just to spend the time to do it right. We got a lot of sprinkler lines. Macomb Township, Michigan, just about everybody has an irrigation system, so this is normal. This is normal. We're always having to work around all the sprinkler lines. We know how to work around the sprinkler lines. If we have to move them, we know how to move them. Now we're going to start taking out all the clay because now we're getting into our French drain. We got a roof runoff system and a French drain system. All right, we're hauling all the dirt that we dig out of the French drain. We're hauling it all away. All this is Macomb Township, Michigan clay. Macomb Township, Michigan has the worst drainage because of the clay here. You got to haul it all away. You can't put none of that dirt back in. But yet guys do. They'll dig a little bit out, and then they'll put one pipe with a little bit of stone. Look at this clay. Look at that nasty clay. Can't get no drainage with that. This yard's so wet we can't even get our mini loaders back here. We just can't. We'll end up sinking and screwing them up even with the ground protection mats. So the guys are being smart. You got to work smarter, not harder. Yeah, they'd like to drive that ditch witch back here, but at what cost? Now you got to put the whole yard back together, and we don't want that. So you can see Cal's been working at backfilling this. He's patiently cutting up all those clay chunks. Look at how nice that looks. There's going to be no settling. He's going to put a riser on that catch basin so the top will be level with the grass. But you want to do this. You want to break up all those clay chunks. Now remember, this is a downspout line, and it's a solid downspout line. This ain't perforated pipe, so you put the dirt back in. That's why that's on those ground protection mats and we didn't haul it away. Very methodical. We're going to leave this homeowner in great shape. It's a shame that he had to do this twice, but I don't know what to say other than that's job security for us. I try at the time of the estimate to explain what it is we do to bring value and to show our worth. The best thing I can do is make these videos and talk about it. We got a storm drain catch basin back here. We're going to core through the sidewall, entire French drain and downspouts to that. Filling up. We fill 2 of these up a day. 20 yards of clay. A lot of equipment, a lot of manpower. This is not something that most homeowners want to do. Look at this clay. Look at that. Just ridiculous how much water just lays on the clay pan and goes nowhere. Guys are going to clean the bottom of this trench out, get the fabric in there. They're going to line it with non-woven geotextile filter fabric so that this dirt doesn't migrate into the stone. We want to preserve the drain stone. We want to build a drain that's going to last forever. So I want to show you what this looks like before it's buried. This is not quite a 90, so it's not 90 degrees. It has automatic slope. It puts automatic slope on the line. It's closer to 80 degrees than it is 90 degrees. It's a patented fitting. We use it at both ends of our systems. We'll have it up at the house, so you have nice slope going away from the house, and nothing can get stuck up in here like it does the 90s. It's like ramped. Everything just goes right to the catch basin, all the shingle gravel. So we're going to put a leaf filter on this, and we're going to install this riser so that we can get this leaf filter on it to where they can service it. We had to customize the downspout. Drainage done wrong all the time. So you see how this pipe has a sock on it? This had a French drain. Somebody paid for a French drain. They dug a little trench and they put a pipe with a sock on it, a perforated pipe with a sock on it. And they poured some pea stone on it. Then the dirt mixed with the pea stone. The dirt will migrate with the pea stone if you don't have a non-woven geotextile filter fabric lining the trench. What a shame. Somebody paid somebody to put in a French drain and a roof runoff system in Macomb Township, Michigan, ran off with their money, and then the system failed. Ridiculous. We see it all the time. And that's a recycled pipe that's thin and cheap and garbage. We're going to use an all virgin pipe that's really thick, heavy walled. What a shame. We see it all the time. Every time we lose a job to a low bidder, we let the homeowner know if they need us. You know, there's no bridge burned. If you end up needing us in the future, just give us a call. I can't even begin to tell you this far along in my career how many of those deals actually play out, and we got to rip a system out 2 years later, and now they're paying twice. This is dual wall culvert pipe. We're going to take a French drain man 45. You just cut 6 or 7 ribs of the dual wall, snap it in one hub, snap it in the other. I like 7. That was 7 ribs. Makes a real nice hub to hub connection. Look at that. Now we have a 45 so that we can connect to this piece of dual wall that we're running under the deck. We can't bury it under the deck because we can't get under there to dig the trench. So we're going to run it through some culvert pipe, and then once we get out here, we're going underground with it. We're going to connect it to our blue corrugated pipe that goes all the way to the city storm drain. Always make sure you're using good, really good, extra sticky and super stretchy. This is special plumbing tape. It's a real thing. Don't use duct tape. That's not good. It's not going to last. This is meant to be buried underground, and it's meant to last for decades. This homeowner is not going to have any issues. We're giving this homeowner their money's worth in plumbing supplies. Everything you see here was made in the USA. None of it came from China. Most of the stuff that you're going to find in the big box stores is made in China. So contractors tell homeowners, we're going to put a pipe in, and yeah, we're going to use the fabric. It's going to have a sock on it, a drain sock. But what keeps the dirt from migrating into the stone? The only way you can do that is if you take fabric and line the entire trench with a really good non-woven geotextile filter fabric that has been double punched. There's millions of little tiny holes, needle punches. It's a really cool procedure that our fabric goes through. The flow rate is insane. So it filters out the dirt from getting into the stone. You need the voids in the stone so that the water can move and leach through the stone and find its way into your drain pipe. So because they didn't use the fabric to line the trench, all the stone got mixed with the mud. The mud just oozes into the stone. You got to separate all that soil from your stone. It's a shame that somebody took this homeowner's money and installed a system that has been known for failure. That system has been known for 30 years. 30 years. I just want to say this. I'm going on record. We've never built a French drain like that with no fabric in the trench. We've never done that. Now, I've used a sock before, but that's just when we line the trench, and depending on what kind of system we're building, we also want to have something around the pipe. You can be redundant in that way depending on what you're building. But we've never just put a pipe with a sock on it in a vein of stone and called that done, because the jury's been in on that for decades and decades. We've known for 30 years that that's a failed experiment. I always bought in to lining the entire trench with a good non-woven geotextile filter fabric, and that's why all of our French drains, including the very first ones we installed 40 years ago, are still running as good as the ones we're installing today. So the men went ahead and they cored through the sidewall of the storm drain catch basin. The catch basin's really in the neighbor's yard, to be honest with you. It's right on the property line. So we just had to dig down and get to the sidewall, the concrete wall of it, and then we core through it. We don't beat it up with a jackhammer. We don't want to crack the infrastructure. We've seen where guys will just pound the infrastructure with a hammer drill, a jackhammer, a chisel hammer, a pickaxe, a sludge hammer, and then later this fails, just falls right in. So we core drilled this. We have the proper tooling to go ahead and have a nice clean core, and that's always a foot of concrete that you got to go through. And that's why guys do what they do to try to get through it instead of getting the proper equipment, because yeah, it costs money to have the right tools. But we have all the right tools. Macomb Township, Michigan, Their sewer and water department absolutely endorses French drain mat. All we got to do is take a picture of that and text it to one of the inspectors. They don't even have the manpower to go behind us because we do so many of these jobs, and they already know our work. All right, Patrick's buttoning this up, but look at what a nice job he's done for the homeowner. Beautiful work. You're not going to find tradesmen typically like this on a drain crew. Whether it's aluminum work, whether it's woodwork, we have a really diverse group of tradesmen, and all these guys are vets. Yeah, a lot of my guys are getting long in the tooth, but you want them for their experience and their knowledge. So we have a downspout here, one under the deck. They Y together, and then they go to this catch basin where we'll grab up all their shingle gravel, and then they're going to tie into this line. We have another downspout over here. It's a main downspout. There's a pretty big run on the back of the house here. All that gutter water right there on the second story comes down that one downspout. So we have that line merging with this line. Now they're going to be flowing together. There's going to be a lot of water. Like this 4-inch line is going to be maxed out. It's the whole back of this house. So we're going to have a 4-inch line. We're going to make sure we tape up that fitting really good right there, because when you have these two flows merging into one, there's going to be a lot of pressure, and a lot of times water just wants to squirt out. Guys won't even seal this up. They'll just click the pipe in and bury it. They don't seal it up like we do. We're going to really seal this hub up really tight so they can withstand those pressures when those two flow. We have two flows of water merging into one. You bet there's going to be some pressure. The water's going to want to squirt right out of that hub. So all our parts snap together. We have these amazing clips. We spent a lot of time engineering and building these parts here in the US. This was all done in the United States. We're talking American engineers, American tool makers made the tools that we use to mold these parts. Everything is the quality and the standards that we're used to here in the US. We like heavy duty parts that are going to last, that go together. Believe it or not, most drain companies don't make parts that go together. I know that sounds crazy, but in my 40 years, all the drains that we've built, nothing fit right. The people that make fittings and pipe don't care. Nobody cares because they're not in the trenches using it. They're just in the boardroom counting the beans. And that's all that matters to them, honestly, the bottom line. So we use a not quite a 90 and a riser. We put a leaf filter on there. Now we like to have our leaf filter set at the perfect height. So Francisco, he's going to measure that, cut that riser, get everything to fit just right. The guys are putting the fabric in the trench. So we have a solid line from a roof runoff system. Notice how there's dirt on the ground protection mats. And then all of a sudden, we go to no dirt. That's because we go to the French drain system. Now we're going to run our solid downspout line in our French drain system. You can see how the men just cut a hole in the fabric. They're going to pocket this end so that the stone doesn't come in contact with the dirt. We build really strong roof runoff systems and really strong French drain systems. We make sure that we tile tape every single connection. This system's going to last. Unlike PVC that cracks because the ground, shifts. When soil gets wet, it swells. In drought, it shrinks and it cracks. So PVC's a hard weld. What happens when the ground is swelled up or contracts because now we're in drought? The PVC moves and these hard glue joints that are not elastic crack. Now tree roots can get in. Bad things can happen. So we go ahead, we use a corrugated pipe that's virgin. It's flexible. So it's built for all this movement that you're going to have, all this shifting. 40 years, and we've perfected the yard drain system and roof runoff system. Doesn't matter what part of the country you're in, our systems are built to last forever if you follow our blueprint. Francisco's going to connect a catch basin on this line. That way any shingle gravel that comes down this line, it's going to go through the leaf filter. It's designed to go through the leaf filter. Shingle gravel is heavy and it'll build up over time. This basin will hold 1 gallon of shingle gravel. You can take your wet, dry vac in your garage and just suck out the catch basin. Once every 2 years is probably enough. It depends on how old your roof is. When a roof gets old, it loses a lot of shingle gravel every year. I've seen old roofs that could fill a catch basin in a couple years' time, no problem. We're going to tape all the connections up, seal everything right here. This is going to enter the French drain as well. And then right here is going to be perforated pipe. Man, look at the erosion under the deck right here. That's crazy, huh? Beautiful work, guys. Beautiful work. So a lot of people will call this carpet. It's non-woven geotextile filter fabric that has been punched. It's needle punched. It's been punched twice. It's ridiculous how many little needle punched holes are in this. You can really see them good today, right here in the shade. Look at that. So our fabric is not weed barrier. Do not mix weed barrier up with good non-woven geotextile filter fabric that's been double punched. Yeah, it costs more money, but it works. Weed fabric doesn't drain. It doesn't filter out the soil and allow the water to come through and get inside the stone and pipe. If you're not using the right materials, you're not going to get the results. A lot of guys will swear against the fabric, but that's just because they don't use the right fabric. When you don't use the right fabric, you're not going to get good results.
Two clamps in a big, the main line.
Yeah, no, that's smart. That's smart. We're not putting just one crimp clamp on here. We're putting 2 on each end. 4 crimp clamps. This was a sprinkler line that went right through the French drain. So, adult Legos. We got all the right tools, all the right parts, and all the right skills with our tradesmen. Francisco's going to put some pea stone under this catch basin because we drilled some holes in the bottom. That way it won't hold water. They're little holes that we drill. So during the rain, the bulk water all ends up in the storm drain. But the little bit that's left behind where the shingle gravel gets collected, that can just leach over the next 48 hours into the subsoil. So the guys are putting everything together. You use a lot of Ys and a lot of 45s when you're putting all these pipes together. A lot of fittings. All these fittings are custom made. They're all made here in the USA. They're all made extreme duty, extra heavy duty. These clips hold. You do not need to tape a perforated line. We're trying to let all the water in so we can get it in the storm drain, so we don't need to tape everything. You don't need to tape it for strength. It's not going to come apart. For connecting fittings, you just take a piece of pipe, like right there, that's a 4-inch Y with a 4-inch piece of pipe, and Francisco connected a 4-inch to 3.5-inch reducer. Now he's going to take a piece of 3.5-inch corrugated pipe to connect those 2 fittings. It's really strong, it's not coming apart, and it's going to withstand all the shrinking and swelling of the soils. Unlike PVC, this will not crack, it will not break. This will stand the test of time. This system will look no different 20 years from now. No cracking, no splitting, no separating. Look how strong this pipe is. The guys just stand on it, work on it. So a question I get often is, how do you start a French drain? Well, right here, we're not going to put clean outs on it. We don't need the clean outs on it. This is a little branch line. and it's never going to be an issue. We are going to have cleanouts on the main trunk line, which is right here. So this little branch line, we have these end plugs. They're really strong. The weakest point of a system like this is where you cut the end of the pipe. So you have to connect a fitting of some kind. Right here at the starting point, we have this end plug, and I do mean it is strong. So the 3.5 inch pipe is ASTM F667 approved. This is the French Drain Man's extra heavy duty. It's a really thick sidewall. We have a couple Y fittings so that we can run a branch line up here to grab up all that water. There's a lot of water that ends up coming right off that deck. It erodes the landscape bed there real bad. We have these pipe clips, holds all the plumbing straight, keeps everything organized. They're really strong. Everything is on a 1% slope. Water runs downhill. Now this yard will never ever end up as saturated and as muddy as it was when we got here. Not with this system in place. Now it'll take a few weeks for this system to tighten up this yard because this system works every minute of every day, and this yard was allowed to get completely spongy and completely saturated. So it's just going to take time for that to tighten up. A little warm weather, but once it gets tight, it'll stay tight. So we're using the 3.5 inch clips, and it's a really warm day and they're real pliable. We're actually hooking the 4 inch pipe with the 3.5 inch clip. We got a 4 inch solid line for the downspouts on top. Our perforated pipe's on the bottom. You always want your perforated pipe at the bottom. That's where all the water is going to be, in this trench. Now we don't put stone under the pipe. You see this happy row of arborvitaes and this tree? You put stone under this pipe and you leave water behind in this trench, it's going to get filled full of tree roots. So we put the pipe right on the bottom of the trench, pour the stone around it. Don't worry about that little bit of sediment that'll be in the bottom of the system. That's better than having a bunch of stone with voids in it that hold water, because during the drought season, these arborvitaes, they'll sniff out water. You don't want to have a system full of tree roots in no time. We build our systems with all that in mind. We got cleanouts on here so we can run a camera through here. We can inspect it for sediment and root growth. If we have root growth in it, we could also put some copper sulfate through it. That'll take care of the roots. We build our systems so that we can service them. We build them with service in mind. Most of our systems never ever require any service, but if they do, you're not guessing. You know right where to go. Every week we have 2 dumpsters full of torn out drain systems every week. Guys put cleanouts on this line because it's long. A couple Ys down there, connecting it. All the pipes on the bottom of this trench are perforated. All right, so this one line is going to get some tape on it because it's our solid downspout line. So we want all that water to go directly into the storm drain and not just pour out here in the French drain system. We're using this trench for the roof runoff system as well as the French drain. We're making the most of the homeowner's dollars. Putting together a very efficient system. You can see the 4 inch to 3.5 reducer to the 3.5 inch Y, then there's a 45. Notice nothing's put together with duct tape. And everything was meant to go together and holds incredibly well. Really strong. All braced up. You can see we have a lot of Ys, a lot of 45s. Everything's connected. We're throwing away somebody's money. They spent it, unfortunately, with the wrong contractor. They didn't use the proper installation, and they didn't use the proper material. Such a shame. Nobody likes to pay for a service a second time because the first time it fails. We see this a lot in Macomb Township, Michigan. A lot of guys out there pretending they know drainage and they don't. All right, so we have cleanouts right here. Why do we have cleanouts right here? Well, if they ever say that the system doesn't seem to be working as well as it did, we can run a camera through these cleanouts right here. This cover, we pull this cover off, we can run our camera through it. We also can run a garden hose through it and just flush it. That's not a bad idea once in a while, just to get any sediment out of the bottom of your French drain. So we have a clean out here and a clean out here. We only put a turf plate on one because that way you can locate where the cleanouts are. Really nice, beautiful work. So the guys are going to fill this with stone next. The reason why we go 2 pipes wide is we see a lot of failure when you only go 1 pipe wide. So years ago, we just started making it this standard policy to do 2 French drain pipes at the bottom. So we have 2 of these perforated pipes, and they got holes 360 degrees all the way around the pipe to take in the water. Now the pipe creates a big void. The stone, the water will move through the stone, but we want to increase the amount of water that we can move. By putting a pipe in, you create a larger void for the water to travel through. We have 2 pipes. We're going to flow a lot of water. The 3rd pipe is going to be for the roof runoff system. We got a roof runoff system pipe in this trench. We got a roof runoff system pipe coming into the trench from that side of the yard. We got a tri-system for our main trunk line, and then our branch lines are a double pipe. The guys start really shallow. You could see how this is really shallow right here. You start really shallow and then you slope it. And you can see how it just drops right off into the main trunk line. This is textbook perfect. These guys do drainage every day. They're not doing anything else besides drainage. When you hire contractors where drainage is not their full-time job and they're trying to do many other disciplines, sometimes they're going to fall short in the yard drain category. You can see everything is connected, precision. I mean, just ridiculous how strong everything is. We're just going to fill this in with stone. And then we're going to close up the fabric and we're going to put drain sand on top. Why do we put drain sand on top? Well, because here in Macomb Township, Michigan, all the sod has clay on the back of it because it's grown on a clay yard. We cut it off with a sod cutter. So we take this drain sand and we put it on the fabric. Now we can put our sod down. This system will take in surface water.
If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions about yard drainage, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.